Hello, my name is Noelle Feigert. Welcome to Minimalist Bullet Journals. Productivity systems shouldn't complicate your life. This class will show you how to use the bullet journal system as invented by Ryder Carroll. I'd like to thank everyone who signed up for this class. I hope you enjoy taking it as much as I enjoyed creating it. I want to set some expectations before we begin. The total class time is fairly short. Each individual lecture should clock in at under 5 minutes. However, the class will be more effective if you space the lesson out over several days. While you could binge study for an entire weekend, you would be shortchanging yourself. Yes, we do have homework. Each exercise should take less than 10 minutes to do, so it won't be onerous. The point of these exercises is to get you to think in a bullet journal kind of way. They're also a low investment way to try out some of the principles of the bullet journal before you open that new expensive notebook I know you're eyeing. Some people are too intimidated to start because of the potential notebook expense. It is why I offered you the handouts. To start this course, you will need a pen or a pencil. It doesn't really matter. Whatever you like to write with. You don't have to buy anything. I use a fountain pen because I like it. Use what makes you happiest. You'll also need printed handouts. Do not be tempted to make a word processing document to do your homework. The whole point of a bullet journal is to write things down physically. We'll talk about why in a later lecture. Print out the handouts if you're going to use them instead of a notebook, or draw them on a piece of paper. If you want, you can go ahead and use a notebook, but you do not have to go out and buy that $25 notebook. For what it's worth, I've used many kinds myself, and my favorite is an Ottersloft grid layout notebook that costs about $6 at the local craft store. My current one is pink. I'll be talking about notebooks more in a later lecture, but for now, any old notebook you have hanging around is fine for your class, and I encourage that. I really want to encourage discussion. At the bottom of each lecture page is a place for you to give your own feedback about the class and to make comments or ask questions. Please do so. Discussion is a great way to spark ideas. Now that we've set some expectations for this little class, I'd like to discuss why it's called a bullet journal. You might think the expression comes from some macho, destroy your tasks kind of thing. It doesn't. It just refers to that dot, the bullet. This particular legend is one I wrote at the beginning of all my notebooks. It's also an excellent example of those bullet journals you never see on Instagram. It ain't pretty, is it? Since my own handwriting is really only legible to me, let's go through the basic bullet symbols in the out-of-the-box system in something a little more easily read. Let me introduce you to the trope namer, the founder of the system, the bullet. It's a dot. The bullet indicates a task. It's easy to write, boom. But what if your task is something really important? You put an asterisk beside it. See how easy that is? Once you're done, you cross out the task with an X. The less than symbol here means that you've migrated or moved a task somewhere towards the beginning of your bullet journal. This is usually where the future log lives. The greater than symbol typically means you've moved a task from somewhere in the past or the beginning of your bullet journal to somewhere in the current time frame. A circle is an event. An event can be a meeting or some other time-specific thing. Maybe you went out with your friends to cruise the museums. That'd be an event as much as your 8:15 dental appointment. This dash indicates a note. Notes might be used when you want to record something about your day. I find I use them most when traveling, making notes about observations or people I've met, things like that. The exclamation point is for inspiration, such as, wow, I got this really great idea for a bullet journal class. Seriously, I personally don't use this one much. By the time I'm inspired, I'm probably jumping on the idea like a ferret. Now that we've set some expectations for the class and have covered the basics of why it's called a bullet journal, it's time for a change of pace. I want you to do 3 things. I want you to take the quiz. I want you to do your homework. Don't worry, it's quick. And I want you to contribute to the discussion. After you've finished with those things, you can move on to the next lesson, which is why minimalist bullet journals aren't as visible on the internet.